Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, October 6th, 2022, a little after 3 p.m. Eastern. Just a little note for everybody. Make sure you check your spam folders when we're sending or returning requests or emails. Sometimes they get caught up in there, and I always check my spam folder. So you never used to have to do that, but now it's probably pretty much recommended. Interesting statement from Jean de la Bruyere. All of your unhappiness comes from your inability to be alone. All of your unhappiness comes from your inability to be alone. No matter how separate we may feel, we are always intimately connected with this universe. We live in a vast ocean of conscious, intelligent energy that loves us, heals us, cares for us, and provides our every need. This connection is the secret to reaching a transcendental state of bliss, knowing that we are the divine and the divine is surrounding us at all times. Experiencing this is a matter of surrendering to this feeling that we are all connected to this, to this divine, all intelligent ocean of existence. All of the thoughts which make us feel separate and make us believe that we are a separate droplet which is removed from this ocean are the original causes of all of our suffering. To discover enlightenment, we must choose to remember one important thing. And I think a lot of us, we're so distracted. We have so many things going on with the ego mind. Nothing, absolutely nothing is as it seems in this world. There are always three sides to every coin. We are always alone, never alone, and enlightenment is found balancing in between these two. The mirage of ideas our mind is projecting is not real. Nothing is as it seems to be in this world. There are always three sides to every coin. We are always alone, never alone, and enlightenment is found balancing in between these two. The mirage of ideas our minds are projecting are not real. The only thing that is real is that which doesn't change. This is our true nature, the infinite soul that we are. When we stop believing in the false appearances of the mind, we open the door to our spiritual understanding of what is real and the possibility to be truly free. The demand for permanence in every area of our existence is the cause of human misery. The demand for permanence in every area of our existence is the cause of human misery. There is no such thing as permanence at all. Krishnamurti. Just know that it may be deeply challenging to constantly be free, as there are many layers of beliefs in the subconscious mind that are constantly overlaying its belief system on top of the reality we're living in. Just know that it may be deeply challenging to constantly be free, as there are many layers of beliefs in the subconscious mind that are constantly overlaying its belief system on top of the reality we're living in. So we have all these layers. Our minds are a product of generations of ancestors' minds. Our minds are a product of generations of ancestors' minds who were also clouded by the truth and riddled with beliefs containing layers of self-doubt. You see how this works? We were all unconsciously programmed from a very, very, very young, innocent age to accept the many creative false beliefs given by our society, teachers, friends, family, and great-great-great-grandparents, who also believed they were separate beings, disconnected from a divine, all-knowing source of infinite power. Now that we are aware, it is our chance to shift out of this ancient misunderstanding and know that we are always interconnected and one with everything on the most intimate, loving, and spiritual levels. Something you may find really interesting to think about is that we are each physically connected to the most enlightened beings who have ever walked this earth. Scientists have proven that the atoms which we will breathe into our bodies today are the exact same atoms found in the ascended masters, exactly the same that were found in the ascended masters. Right now, our physical bodies have at least 1 million atoms that were actually in the body of Buddha, Christ, Mother Mary, Maitreya, Lakshmi, Ganesh, all of them. You also have atoms, we all do, that have been inside every single star in the sky and every being that has ever existed since the dawn of creation. This has scientifically been proven. It is literally impossible for us to be separate from anything or anyone. So the real question is, what is it that actually causes us to feel lonely? What is it that causes us to feel lonely? Everyone you meet in your life, even total strangers, are already intimately connected to you. The idea that we are all separate and distinct beings is nothing but an illusion. We are all parts of a larger whole, like individual cells in a body. Steve Pavlina. We are all parts of a larger whole, like individual cells in a body. Loneliness is an illusion created by the mind. As long as the mind believes we are a separate being who has separate thoughts that are totally disconnected from everyone else, It will give your body the experience of being connected. The reality is that you cannot be separate and never, never, never will be. The mind simply created this experience of separation just so that you could later have the experience of reunification. You are always connected. Your soul just signed up for the most phenomenal experience of coming home to the great, divine, all-knowing, intelligent God self that you are. The mind is amazing. It is truly a creative genius that gives us every experience of this life. Without the mind, we wouldn't have a body and would not exist. The mind loves to invent the most magnificent stories, dreams, and illusions. All these stories seem very real because there are deep feelings attached to them. Yet, when you watch each story in your mind as if it was a movie, you can see how unreal it actually is. When you watch each story in your mind as if it was a movie, you can see how unreal it actually is. Just notice, whenever the mind starts to say, you are missing someone or missing out on something, this is a red flag to wake up and realize they are layers of ancestral beliefs. Just notice, whenever the mind starts to say you are missing someone or missing out on something, this is a red flag to wake up, and for you to wake up and realize that these are layers of ancestral beliefs. The mind has been trained to focus on what it is not connected to, rather than what it is connected to. The moment the mind is recentered back on its infinite spiritual source by simply resting for hours deeply into the core of your being, all loneliness instantly dissolves into all oneness. The moment the mind is recentered back on its infinite spiritual source by simply resting for hours deeply into the core of your being, all loneliness instantly dissolves into all oneness. Aloneness is a flower, a lotus blooming in your heart. Aloneness is positive. Aloneness is health. Okay. Perhaps you may have noticed that the word aloneness is very close to the words all oneness. Isn't it? The word aloneness is very close to the words all oneness. There's just an extra L added in there. And I believe that this L stands for the word love. When you include your L, you are including love in your life. Meaning you are loving yourself, someone or something which causes you to bathe in feelings of being one with everyone and everything. A life lived with love is freedom from the mind, which tends to always believe it is separate from source. A life lived with love is freedom from the mind, which tends to always believe it is separate from the source. The most fastest and effective way that you may find to move beyond loneliness and find a state of infinite love inside is to stop resisting the feelings of being lonely and surrender to the infinite spiritual nature of your being. Whenever a feeling of separation arises, treat it like a lost puppy that wants to be held, caressed, and loved. Hold that feeling in your arms so fully and experience the pain it's going through. Yet don't believe that these feelings are real. They will come and go faster than your next breath of air. Allow the feelings of separation to totally fill you up, yet don't buy into their sappy story. Allow the feelings of separation to totally fill you up, yet don't buy into their sappy story. Go as deeply as you can into these feelings and explore where they come from and what the real feeling is beneath them. The more we can venture into and through our own unconsciousness, our darkness, the more awareness, light, that we bring into the beliefs that say we are separate beings. Once we completely stop avoiding any feelings or fears of being lonely, we will see that underneath it all is a blissful, super expansive state of love that feels as if you are truly one with the entire universe. This is why loneliness has been bothering us for all this time. It would not give up on us. It's trying to push us deeper inside ourselves, to the core of our being, where we will discover this vast love and consciousness that makes up this entire universe. When we have established conscious oneness with the absolute, with the infinite, vast, the everything is part of us. And how can we be afraid of ourselves? Sri Chinmal. When we have established consciousness, conscious oneness with the absolute, with the infinite vast, the everything is part of us. And how can we be afraid of ourselves? Consciously making time to be with yourself is huge. Consciously making time to be with yourself is huge. It happens on its own when you start looking forward to enjoying your time connecting with Source. Being alone is the easiest way to connect with the entire universe. Sitting completely still in total silence is the most direct path to finding intimacy with the divine. You will be plagued with the generations of thoughts programmed in your subconscious mind. Yet after about an hour of sitting still, things will settle down and the deep divine presence will reveal itself naturally. It has no other choice. So here's an invitation. It's an invitation, it's a choice. For the next year of your life, stop avoiding being alone. For the next year of your life, stop avoiding being alone. Stop filling up your time with distractions when you know it's time for you to go inside. The most healthy balance you can create in this life is this. Spend 1/3 of your time alone, 1/3 with one person in an intimate connection, and 1/3 with a group of 2 or more. The most healthy balance you can create in this life is spend 1/3 of your time alone, 1/3 with one person in an intimate connection, and 1/3 with a group of 2 or more. Be aware every time you are avoiding loneliness by reaching for entertainment, work, money, information, food, alcohol, drugs, sex, anyone on your mobile, or anything on social media. You are probably programmed, like most of us, and don't even realize that you are avoiding feeling any uncomfortable feelings inside yourself by reaching outwards towards these things. Now, I'm not saying experiencing anything on this list is wrong. Just notice where you're coming from when you reach out for them. When it comes to enlightenment, the golden key is to relax into our darkness and bring the light of awareness into every desperate attempt we have to avoid being with our divinity. The pure state of being is underneath any dark or scary feelings you may have. Dive directly into the darkness, and there you will find freedom from it. Remember that each moment is a precious opportunity to spend time being with your divine nature, which is deeply blissful, healing, and is simply found by exploring our innermost essence. It is good to know that being alone is not being lonely. It is not thinking about what you're missing out on. It is the most enlightening and empowered place you can discover. The illusion that you are separate from Source cannot continue to fog over your perception when you continuously, consciously create quality alone time that you enjoy. Resting deep in stillness is the path to total, true freedom from all future suffering. Do you really need any other reason to make this a priority in your life? Try it for even 21 days and see what happens. Now, if you're not used to being alone, when you first sit in silence for even a few minutes, your mind may see it as an attack on its physical domination over your life. The mind will try everything in the book to distract you and pull on your reins so it's back in control. Just watch the mind from a distance. Don't buy into its drama. Quietly go deep inside, and you will soon discover the peace that always resides at the core of your being. Relax and feel as if you are a droplet in the ocean, merging with each sensation that arises. Let yourself melt so that you cannot feel where you end or begin. Live your life as if you will never cease to exist. The truth is the soul, the God, the pure consciousness, however you label it, it goes on experiencing life forever in the next dimension. You can explore what this is like, even if for a few precious moments, by letting go and surrendering into a deep meditative space. Explore what it's like to have no boundaries between you and anything else on this planet. Feel what it feels like to experience that we are all one divine ocean of peace, joy, and love. You know it's that amazing, harmonious feeling that you might have felt around the holiday season as a child. What if you could have that every day of your life? No matter how far apart we believe we are mentally, emotionally, and physically from each other, we are all intimately connected more than the mind can understand. The droplets together are what create the ocean. They are never separate from it. Meditate on this. We are all one with the great ocean of existence. So I invite you to implement some of these ideas that resonate for you. Understand that this universe that we live in is more intelligent than the mind can comprehend. There are endless hidden dimensions to everything and everyone within it. We truly exist in the most fascinating, multidimensional, and infinitely mysterious field of conscious, intelligent energy. This divine harmonic matrix is vibrating with life all around us. It is inside us and is constantly connecting with our every breath, thought, emotion, and heartbeat. Just look all around you. Everything is constantly exploding in an orgasm of wild, unabandoned creativity. Somewhere on this planet, right now, millions of flowers are blossoming, giving birth to the most amazing sights and scents. Amazing sacred geometric crystals are forming perfect patterns beneath the Earth's crust, while millions of animals, birds, insects, and humans are literally having intercourse in the most interesting positions. This is just the tiny tip of the iceberg as to all the wild, mysterious, beautiful things happening on this planet right now. We're deferred at the civilization. We have been deferred, exited from our true being. We have been distracted for generations, ancestrally. We're carrying programs that our ancestors carried. If and when you observe nature long enough, you'll see everything is always changing, including that body. It is said that we cannot step into the same river twice, right? And by the time we've stepped in it once, everything, including ourselves, is already completely different. And what this means is that we cannot have the exact same sequence of thought patterns and feelings that we had last month or last year. We cannot. Our minds and our emotional intelligence is continuously growing, evolving, changing. We were born highly intelligent beings who were meant to outgrow the small trousers we once wore in second grade. Now, I don't think any of us would say, oh, yeah, well, I'm going to try those back on. I'm going to, I kept a pair of pants from when I was second grade. I'm going to try those on right now. Now, Interestingly enough, if you were to take a microscope and look into the DNA inside every cell in your body, you would see that they all contain a sacred imprint that is unique to you. In each quantum particle, very, 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 very tiny. Quantum means very, very, very tiny, very small. In each quantum particle of your DNA is this wild and uncharted, magnificent, intelligent mystery within it. This mysterious intelligence is embedded within the foundation of your blood, bones, and brain. You cannot escape from it, no matter how hard you try. What's interesting is that the mind tends to take for granted this sacred mystery every day. The mind has this tendency to create habits, fall into these little comfort zones of thought, safe, emotional thought patterns. It finds ideas which label life, placing ourselves and others into tiny, compartmentalized little thought boxes so we can feel more secure, self-assured, somewhat organized, standing in the face of this wild, uncharted, infinite mystery that's surrounding us in all directions. The moment we put anything into this divine existence, into a thought box, we forget all about enjoying a state of devotion and worship to the divine mystery. The instant we forget about the great mystery of this life, we initiate the suffering process. Every experience of this life thereafter becomes a challenge. As we live from the head and not from the heart, the mind is a master at continuously getting lost and believing all its inner thought structures are real. When our intellect holds tight onto fixed beliefs, it thinks this life will feel more manageable, giving the illusion of control and the sensation that we are becoming wiser. Yet this hard-coded know-it-all mindset demolishes our childlike curiosity and abolishes any form of reverence from this deeply sacred divine mystery. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. One cannot help but be in awe when he contemplates the mysteries of eternity, of life, of the marvelous structure of reality. It is enough if one tries merely to comprehend a little of this mystery every day. Never lose a holy curiosity, Albert Einstein. There's many great mysteries. One of them that you may have ever discovered in this life is the human psyche. The human psyche is the accumulation, remember this, the human psyche is the accumulation of other people's thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions that we've adopted and inherited as our own. All of these beliefs form the entire experience of ourselves, other people, this world, and our entire reality. The way we think, how we think, why we think this way and not that way is the core network of our psyche and makes us believe more like predictable machines than alive cosmic organisms. The human psyche, however, has a magical side to it, in that whatever we accept as the truth becomes what we actually manifest physically into our lives. It's a very powerful understanding for this civilization. The human psyche, however, has a magical side to it, in that whatever we accept as the truth becomes what we actually manifest physically into our lives. This may be one of the most awesome mysteries mankind has to explore. Our foundational belief structure is so powerful, pervasive, and penetrating that it always manifests itself in every single possible outcome and experience we have. It always manifests itself in every single possible outcome and experience we have. This universe always supports whatever we believe. If deep down you believe you are not a lovable person, the universe will constantly manifest for you the most challenging people, negative situations, and experiences that support this belief inside. If you truly believe you are lovable, this universe will slather your life with sweet, loving beings devoted to caring about you, honoring you, and caring for your needs in the most intimate, vulnerable ways. This intelligent universal energy simply follows thought. Whatever you believe about you is where the energy flows and manifests into the entire show all around you. That's very powerful to really comprehend and embrace that understanding. In this highly technological age, people these days tend to believe science easier than religion, right? If you can prove God is real in a lab, then it must be true. What's fascinating about this time frame in our lives is that the quantum physicists of this world have ventured so deep into particles that they have had to merge their scientific understanding within a spiritual context. Their practical Newtonian vocabulary does not have the words to explain the outrageous results they are finding. Interesting. They are having to use more spiritual words and concepts to bridge the understanding of these hard-coded scientific results. Let's say you take two quantum particles, okay? And those particles are spinning around each other. And you find a way to separate them by many or a few kilometers in distance, right? Later, they spin one of the particles spins counterclockwise. And then you notice that instantly the other particle that was kilometers away would also change spinning in this new direction. This discovery is old news, right? But it's a root understanding. And the same results are always found. So the conclusion for us to make, there exists some form of spiritual intelligence that is communicating between all quantum particles in this universe, no matter what physical distance is between them. Also, that thoughts are actual physical measurable things. It was observed that a vacuum of space, which had no particles in it, right? They found that whenever the observers of that space would place their attention, that was the place the particles would show up. They weren't there before. As soon as the observers focused on that space, the particles would show up. So what does this mean for all of us? When the mind cultivates the ability to direct thought in one specific direction for an extended period of time, the person can physically attract, magnetize, and soon manifest an actual physical thing into their field of existence. That's every one of us. Now, just for a moment, step back and look at this life. Look at the rat race. Look at everything going on. Look at all the distractions that the ego mind constantly throws in. And all of us in the opposite understanding that we're powerless, insignificant, meaningless. All the opposite of what we truly are. Omnipotently powerful, life-eternal beings that have the power to create anything. It's a proven fact. It's been observed thousands of times. Yet, because we choose the ego mind, because it's easier, and not the God within us, not the pure consciousness, not the force, we're stuck in this endless ring of suffering. Now, there are some on this planet that know this. I mean, very well. Here's the understanding in this very now moment. This is the understanding. We are the manifesting magicians of the quantum soup of highly intelligent energy all around us. And this has become an actual science in the quantum physics and the spiritually enlightened communities. Okay, understand that. We are the manifesting magicians of the quantum soup of highly intelligent energy all around us. And this has become an actual science in the quantum physics and the spirituality and enlightened communities. The relationship between the mystic and the scientist were separated on purpose over 500 years ago. And isn't it interesting? With much more power, much more clarity and understanding, the pendulum is swinging back towards their reunification again. It is our inherent curious nature to want to put labels on things, people, ourselves, and create a universal law of attraction that will solve this great manifesting mystery of life. We think that if we have a more concrete global understanding of this life, that we can relax and rest even deeper into our spiritual nature. Perhaps only a fool would believe that we need something external to let go and relax internally. Why would we need to feel inferior to be one with Mother Nature, just so as to push away our insecurity and strive towards a need to feel superior? The human psyche is the greatest mystery of them all. All that we have to do is give up identifying with the body, with forms and limits, and then we shall know ourselves as the infinite self that we always are. Ramana Maharishi. Maybe when science creates a machine to find the source of consciousness, that mankind will feel like a god. Yet, why take the long road? Right? Why not just look inside our source of consciousness itself and discover real evidence of where consciousness comes from? Realize what consciousness is made of and why it exists, and relax into the greatest innermost mystery of them all. I have a feeling that in order for our world to solve these deep, outrageous questions in the future, quantum physicists must merge completely with the metaphysical mindset. And understand meta means beyond, so beyond physical mindset. If modern science is to make any real progress, by now, you're more interested in how your life can personally benefit from applying this enlightening path of understanding the great mystery. You want to know how understanding the beyond physical manifesting mystery can make your life easier, more abundant, healthy, loving, happy, and financially free. In order for us to have access to manifesting anything and everything we desire in this life, we must first choose to start with believing in one basic foundational understanding. And I mean really believe without falter and waver, steadfastly. Whatever we continuously focus our attention on grows, multiplies, and manifests automatically in our lives with the help of this natural, powerful, magnetic, manifesting intelligence that's inside everything. Now, with all this amazing manifesting power already inside us, isn't it quite ironic that more people are not accessing it? Don't you find that strange? Many of us are stuck in jobs we don't like, relationships that we lose energy battling with every day. And we are either having some sort of food, drug, alcohol, or sex addiction that is taking priority over any real deep spiritual devotion and exploration. The basic reason for all human suffering here is simple. The mind keeps focusing on what we don't want and thus keeps manifesting more of the same. New thoughts rarely have space to form. And after 70 or 80 years, the human being has wasted all its precious energy on magnetizing on what it doesn't want and doesn't have. The only reason we are all not always manifesting everything that we want or desire is because we cannot keep our minds focused long enough on feeling that they are receiving that one thing they truly desire to have. It's that simple. This is the only reason we are not always manifesting everything that we want. It is because we cannot keep our minds focused long enough on feeling that we are receiving the one thing we truly desire to have. It's that simple. Once we retrain the brain to stay focused, fiercely, deeply, and absolutely, resolutely focused, we will become the manifesting masters of our world. When we practice meditation, we will one day attain mastery over our mind, and with it the ego, and actually reach a state of physical mastery over our physical world. Right now, the master is fast asleep, and the mind, the servant, is playing the role of master. And the servant is created by the outside world. It follows the outside world and its laws. Once your awareness becomes a flame, it burns up the whole slavery that the mind has created. There is no blissfulness more precious than freedom, than being a master of your own destiny. When it comes down to life and mind mastery within the great mystery, it is all about discovering the source of pure awareness inside. This is that simple, obvious awareness that is always watching, listening, and experiencing everything in your life all the time. It is the light behind the movie screen of your mind, responsible for projecting the entire picture onto everything that you feel, sense, and see. It is responsible for shining the light on every single thought and feeling that you have about anything. It's always the source of what you're experiencing, what you experience, and in every moment of your existence. We don't give awareness enough credit. We rarely recognize that it's there, and hardly ever take the time to sit down with it and relax into the source of it. The reason we take awareness for granted is because it is ever present, always here, now, just like the air you're breathing. Yet, think about it. What if awareness wasn't present anymore? What would happen to your life? Who would you be without awareness? Who would exist if there were nobody to be aware of your existence anymore? These are some deep thoughts to contemplate. Yet when we do take the time to explore them, something magical happens. We start becoming more in touch with this divine state of awareness. Whatever we focus on is what we experience more of, and eventually manifest into physical action or form. Whatever we meditate on results in who we are going to become tonight and tomorrow morning. As we become more aware of the infinite spiritual source of awareness inside, we become more connected with what's totally in charge of what we're magnetizing. We can see each thought fly by and see exactly how each one is attracting, creating, and designing how our entire lives unfold and manifest. It is only when we become conscious of this perfect divine play, manifesting inside us and all around us, that we stop fighting ourselves, each other, beating our heads against our inner emotional prison walls. And when we stop pushing up against life, this life, and start appreciating that everything is an aspect of the great sacred mystery, we start resonating at a higher level of consciousness. We begin feeling more expansive when we wake up in the morning and greet the day with a childlike curiosity, creativity, and wonder. We do this because at the source of pure awareness, it's easy to realize there truly are no actual prisons in this infinite quantum field of intelligent energy. Prisons are only limiting aspects of our highly creative imaginations. I find that on a karmic level, every person has a unique inner emotional prison, and this is part of their unique soul's destiny. Every human came here to release the lie, right? To release the lie their soul was fed. They came to re-experience the feelings of being confused, rejected, abandoned, hated, suppressed, depressed, and stuck in order to transcend them all. We need to step harder on thorn hiding in our shoe in order to stop hiking up this great mountain and remove it with love. At some point, every day, we each run into some feeling of being stuck, blocked, or challenged by something or someone. We feel limited, small, powerless, or suppressed from our full expression. Every human mind already has the program installed to throw itself into some emotional dumpster repeatedly. There are many little thorns hiding in our shoes that we are unaware of. Thus, something terrible happens in the outer world. We get dumped by a lover. We end up trashing our self-esteem, our love for life, our feeling of being empowered, and falling into some treacherous feeling of being locked up in an emotional prison we cannot escape from. All of this thorny karma we carry may sound terribly depressing, yet it's good to remember that this universe is more loving, mysterious, and intelligent than we could ever imagine. There is a very beautiful yet unobvious reason why this divinely intelligent, deeply eternal loving universe has set life up to throw each and every one of us through experiences of emotional pain, agony, and suffering. The reason is so that we stop everything we are doing and become deeply inspired to evolve in a spiritual dimension. The spiritual path is the only way we can remove all our thorns and break out of our thick mental and emotional prisons. The only problem is that the mind tends to get lazy and wrapped up in old habit and would never search for the keys to our spiritual freedom unless we felt deeply trapped, imprisoned, or stuck. The mind loves to create these emotional prison cells in the brain, as each one provides new fuel to blast off into a new experience of creativity, growth, evolution, movement, and eventually reach total liberation. So we all have these wonderfully perfect, prickly prisons constructed inside us. Each one is destined to create a deep yearning and desire to be free. We can reject this idea, ignore it, or accept it. Just notice what happens inside your body either way. This search for freedom is as much our destiny as the prisons we've placed ourselves in. There are no real enemies in this world. There are only imaginary shadows. The thorns in our shoes can be removed once we realize that they are also created by our own imaginations. We must choose to move beyond the mind, through the unconscious righteous mind that believes it is aware, yet is truly ignorant and not worshiping the great mystery 24 hours a day. It is this ignorance that is our only real enemy. The mind is deeply stuck in thought, in ego, and will only strive to create something new when some form of horrific pain, fear, or slavery begins bubbling up inside. And yes, the mind is imagining everything that you're experiencing right now. It is believing that your thoughts, beliefs, all your limitations are real. It is entertaining the feeling that being financially stuck is real, or that your relationships are never going to improve, or you'll always live in the same house forever. It has this idea that whatever challenging life experiencing you're having right now just may be that way forever. The sensations of emotional imprisonment sure do feel real, yet when we step back from them, we see they are just a conglomeration of negative thoughts. When we step back from the mind with awareness, we can understand that we are the ones who have thrown ourselves into jail with our imagination. From this awareness, then, we can step out of jail just with using our sweet, simple, yet all-powerful imagination. One who knows the self has nothing more to do, nor has he any more thoughts. From then on, the infinite power will carry out all further actions that may be necessary for him. Ramana Maharishi. To acquire a get-out-of-jail pass, we must gift it to ourselves. We must choose to accept that everything and everyone in this life is a part of this deep, holographic, infinite mystery. In this acceptance, we stop feeling limited. We see how our imaginations are co-creating everything, designing this entire thing we deem as reality. And then then and only then can we understand what it takes to be free. By knowing what is creating thought, we stop believing in all of its fantasies. We realize that any potential feeling of slavery is a choice from here on out. We understand that we always have the free will and choice in how we wish to interact and engage with any thought that enters into the mind, and can keep it like a winning lotto ticket or toss it away like a used banana peel. So my invitation right now for all of us is to not hold on to any beliefs that show up about yourself, others, and this life. Choose the mystery over certainty, just because it's more exciting. It's simply more interesting not to not know than to know. When you're living within the mystery 24 hours a day, you suddenly find yourself becoming spontaneous, free from hesitation, doubt, barely have any fear. It requires all the courage you have to keep choosing the mystery over the normal way of being human. Yet, you're much, much, much more likely to experience your fears as some weird, bubbling state of excitement than something you run from. You might even see your life as this wild, passionate birthing of random desires to engage and disengage from. Ultimately, it is a mystery how long or short your life is going to last. So why not start embracing it now? When we embrace the mystery as a way of living life, the mysterious way keeps us truly alive. We start abiding in a state of wonder and deep curiosity about everything. We stop defining who we are and start realizing that truly we are actually indefinable. We start seeing amazing intelligent energy is here now, directly in front of our eyes. I'll join you in the meditation and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out of the mouth. Remain still. This playful witnessing consciousness only happens when the mind is not there. When there is no mind. However, the mind is in your way to such a degree that you may need a technique to help you open fully to the here and now. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, fall and morning. We'll return here Friday, October 7th, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call, and 9 p.m. Eastern to continue our reverse aging health call.